Welcome to CAL-FFL's response to the State of the Union Address, or as we like to call it, the State of Gun Rights in Our American Union. The state of gun rights in our American Union is strong, and we offer as evidence the fact that President Barack Obama failed to mention gun restrictions, registration, or bans one time in his signature policy speech for the year, the State of the Union. Evidence can also be found in the fact that federal legislation that sought to curb our Second Amendment rights was swiftly put down in both houses of Congress. Now, this is not to say that the fight is over. In fact, it's far from it. Obviously, in certain states like California, Michigan, New York, Illinois, in fact, liberal bastions across the country, legislators are still seeking to curb and restrict our Second Amendment rights. States like California, New Jersey, Colorado, New York all sought record numbers of anti-gun legislation offered in their state legislatures, some of which, unfortunately, actually became law. But all is not lost, because even in these anti-gun states, victories are being won every day. For example, Sacramento County, which is in the great state of California, has seen record numbers of people receiving concealed weapons permits. That's after gun rights activists worked with Sacramento County Sheriff in order to establish a process that will allow law-abiding citizens to be able to carry on their person and defend themselves and their property. We've also had the opportunity to experience a rare thing amongst big city police chiefs, as the police chief of Detroit stood up and declared that an armed citizenry makes for a safer city. In Chicago, Illinois, the courts have put an end to the city's ban on the sale of firearms within the city limits, allowing the citizens of Chicago to be able to defend themselves, their homes, and their property. 2014 is sure to be another record year when it comes to fighting the fight to defend our freedoms. Ladies and gentlemen, it's important that we get involved and stay involved in the fight. First and foremost, it starts with education. Polls show that the average American supports the idea of reasonable gun restrictions. The challenge is that most Americans have absolutely no idea how restrictive the anti-gun regulations that are being proposed actually are. It's also important that we talk about where and why gun violence is actually taking place. Take a look at where all of the major shootings have taken place lately. Guess what? It's in areas where firearms are prohibited. Whether it's in big cities like Chicago, whether it's school shootings, or whether it's at government facilities. The reality is that whenever you disarm the citizenry, you embolden criminals to attack us. You embolden criminals and make it more difficult for citizens to defend their life and their property. Finally, it's important that we really honestly talk about and get to understand how our legislative process works. It's important that we understand that we, the citizens, are in fact in charge of our government. And our government is only empowered to do those things that we allow it to do. So that's why it's important for us to do the second thing, and that is to get involved, to get engaged. Whether it's going online, reading and finding out about legislation and how it's going to impact you, and then letting your representatives know exactly how you feel. Or whether it's simply letting your neighbors know. Getting yourself informed, getting yourself educated, and then informing and then working to inform others. And letting your legislators know exactly how you feel. The final thing is, it's important that we support those who are defending our Second Amendment rights. Played football for a long time. I love cheerleaders. But there's one thing I learned real quick, and that's that cheerleaders don't win games. You have to be on the field. You have to be engaged in the process. So I want to encourage you, if you're not giving of your time, your talent, or your treasury, then let me tell you something. You're a cheerleader. It's time to not be a cheerleader. It's time to get off the sidelines and get in the game. Now, all three of these areas that I've talked to you about, you can find out how you can get engaged, and you can get engaged really easily by going to firearmspolicy.org. That's firearmspolicy.org. If you live here in the state of California, I want to encourage you to go to demandrights.org, where you can find out about all the legislation that's taking place in the state of California and how you can get involved and get engaged. Finally, if you are an FFL, or if you sell firearms, collect firearms, I want to encourage you to get involved and become a member of CAL-FFL. All you got to do is go to calffl.org/join. Get involved in the fight. Ladies and gentlemen, We are winning the battle in defense of the Second Amendment, but the fight is far from over. I want to encourage you to get involved. Don't wait. Get involved today. Get involved right now so that we can keep the state of gun rights in our American Union strong. This is Craig DeLuz with CAL-FFL signing out.